Have you ever wondered what happens when you press in the clutch pedal in a manual transmission car? Do you know how a clutch works? Hi, my name is Michael and I'm going to explain to you the process of what happens when you press in the clutch pedal. First, I will tell you the purpose of a clutch in a manual transmission car. Unlike in an automatic car that just has two pedals, the accelerator pedal and the brake pedal, a manual car has three pedals: the accelerator pedal, the brake pedal, and the clutch pedal. The clutch pedal on a manual car is used to disconnect the power flow from the engine to the transmission so the driver can get the car into gear and shift the gears. I have part of a clutch assembly here for you, and I will go through everything and explain what they are for and where it is located. The clutch assembly is located in between the engine and the transmission. The clutch assembly consists of many parts. To start, the clutch assembly consists of a flywheel. The flywheel is bolted directly to the crankshaft of the engine to help transmit the power to the clutch disc. Next is the clutch disc. The clutch disc is a disc that is made up of high friction material, so when a clamping force is applied, it will create a solid connection to the flywheel. The clutch disc is connected to the splines of the transmission input shaft and sandwiched in between the flywheel and the pressure plate. The pressure plate is a plate that uses diaphragm springs to engage or disengage the clutch disc and is bolted to the flywheel. Next is the throw-up bearing. The throw-up bearing is a bearing that rides against the splines of the pressure plate, so when the driver pushes in the clutch, the splines of the pressure plate can be evenly pushed down. The throw-up bearing is locked into place by a clutch fork. The clutch fork is a connection from the slave cylinder to the throw-up bearing and has a pivot point in between the slave cylinder and the throw-up bearing. The slave cylinder is a hydraulic cylinder that is connected to the clutch fork so that it can allow the clutch fork to pivot once the clutch pedal is depressed. Last thing is the master cylinder. The master cylinder is the most important part because it creates the pressure in the hydraulic system, so when the clutch is pressed, the slave cylinder can extend to pivot the clutch fork. Now that I have explained to you the parts of the clutch assembly, I will now tell you how they work in relation to when you press in the clutch pedal in your manual transmission car. When you press in the clutch pedal, the master cylinder is pressurizing the hydraulic system and will start to extend the arm on the slave cylinder. When the arm on the slave cylinder is extending, it will start to pivot the clutch fork. When the clutch fork pivots, the throw-up bearing is putting pressure on the diaphragm splines of the pressure plate, releasing the clutch disc, disconnecting it from the engine so that there is no power going to the transmission. Once this process has happened and the clutch pedal is fully depressed, this will allow you to put your car into gear while the car is stopped or shift into gears while the car is moving. Once your car is in gear, you can start letting out the clutch and the car will start to move. You must let out the clutch slowly because the transmission is now connected to your wheels, which are not moving, and will be connecting to the engine that is spinning over quickly. If you let off the clutch fast, then you will stall your engine. Once you start letting off the clutch slowly, the pressure plate will start engaging the clutch disc, and the clutch disc will begin to slip up to engine speed. While letting out the clutch pedal, the driver needs to begin pressing the accelerator pedal slowly for a smooth but quick acceleration. Once the clutch disc has sped up to the engine speed, you can fully let out the clutch pedal and accelerate your car up to speed. In conclusion, there are many parts to a clutch assembly that work together to make a car move. Pressing the clutch in each part has its own purpose to make the process of the clutch work. Pressure, pivoting, and releasing of parts working together to help a clutch do its job.